In the serene academic setting of Oxford, England, the untimely demise of a young student revealed a compelling storyline that gripped the entire nation. This is the narrative of Rachel Margaret McLean, a saga encompassing ambition, affection, and a disturbing crime that disrupted the tranquility of a historic community. Rachel, a brilliant and gifted scholar at St Hilda's College, Oxford, was celebrated for her intellect, compassion, and unwavering commitment to her education. Possessing a bright future brimming with hopes and ambitions, she harbored a hidden reality beneath her outwardly perfect existence, a relationship tainted by possessiveness and dominance. Rachel Margaret McLean was born in August 1971 in Blackpool, England, to Malcolm and Joan McLean. Raised in Carlton alongside her two siblings, Rachel's father worked as an engineer at British Aerospace, while her mother served as the head of foreign languages at a local school. Rachel, showing intellectual prowess, excelled academically at Blackpool Sixth Form College, where she obtained her A-levels. Recognized as a diligent student, Rachel possessed a natural talent for creating captivating and original pieces of creative writing. Her love for poetry and English literature was profound, leading her to secure a place at Oxford University's St Hilda's College due to her exceptional academic performance. On Rachel's inaugural day at Oxford, she experienced a profound sense of wonder. Ambling through the streets and historic campus buildings, she savoured every moment, finding it surreal that this extraordinary setting would be her abode for the forthcoming 3 years. Rachel left a lasting impression on all those she encountered, renowned for her environmental activism, vegetarian lifestyle, and a forward-thinking approach that set her apart. During her tenure at Oxford, Rachel held the role of Vice President of the Junior Common Room at St Hilda's College, an all-female institution. She also represented the student body in the formulation of a comprehensive code of conduct aimed at combating sexual harassment across all colleges. Rachel exhibited a heartfelt commitment to fostering a safer environment for female peers at Oxford. Her university days were filled with engagement in the industrial society, volunteer work with Christian Aid and the Samaritans, and the pursuit of her passion for heavy metal music through involvement with the University Rock Society. The romantic aspect of Rachel's life took a positive turn as well. She crossed paths with John Tanner, a native of New Zealand, during her 19th birthday festivities in Blackpool. John, a student at the University of Nottingham, found himself in Blackpool visiting a friend when he fortuitously encountered Rachel at her birthday gathering. Their connection was instantaneous, with Rachel being drawn to the tall, handsome, and traditional student, while John was utterly captivated by her. Hailing from Hampshire, United Kingdom, John relocated to Wanganui, New Zealand, with his family at a young age. After a period in New Zealand, he returned to England to pursue studies in classics at the University of Nottingham. John hosted a program named The Fast Lane on University Radio Nottingham twice a week, and was selected as the representative for his dormitory in the student union. Rachel and John embarked on a romantic relationship, spending significant time together and frequently traversing the distance to visit each other's respective universities. Rachel's family received a call from the university on April 19, 1991. On that day, Rachel was supposed to meet with her tutor in the morning to discuss plans for the upcoming term and undergo a preliminary test at the college later in the day. However, Rachel did not arrive for these appointments, which was uncharacteristic of her. Upon contacting Rachel's family, it was revealed that they had returned her to Oxford over the previous weekend. Rachel had spent the Easter break with her family, and her mother, Jean, had brought her back to Oxford on the Saturday before the new term began to allow her time for studying. Upon their return to Oxford, they shared a meal, went shopping for groceries, and Jean departed for home around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. On the day, John, Rachel's boyfriend, was expected to arrive at 6 p.m. She headed to the railway station to meet him. Due to John's train being delayed, Rachel returned home without him, while John eventually arrived at their house via taxi around 7:30 p.m. Later that evening, after Jean had safely returned home, she contacted her daughter to inform her. The journey back to the family residence took 5 hours, marking the final conversation Jean had with Rachel. Subsequently, a missing person report was filed with the police the following day. Neither the university nor the authorities had any immediate concerns about Rachel's safety. as it was not uncommon for college students to occasionally be out of touch for a few days. After discussing with Rachel's family, investigators also had a conversation with John. He recounted the events of that weekend after reaching Rachel's residence on Saturday evening. John mentioned his enthusiasm for the Nottingham Forest football team and shared that while Rachel was studying in the living room, he was watching a game on TV. He detailed how Rachel phoned her grandmother at noon that day to express gratitude for a food package she had sent. Before departing on his train the next day, John recalled bidding farewell to Rachel with a kiss on platform 2 at Oxford railway station. While they awaited his train departure, John and Rachel sat sipping coffee at the station when an unfamiliar man with long hair took a seat beside them. Although the man seemed acquainted with Rachel, John did not recognize him. The man kindly offered to drive Rachel home. During his train journey, John took the opportunity to pen a letter to Rachel. "My dearest, lovely Rachel, thank you for such a wonderful weekend. Please excuse the handwriting as I am now sadly wending my way away from your smiling face. Fancy seeing that friend of yours at the station. It was nice of him to give you a lift, but I hate him because he has longer hair than me. Ha ha. It's nice to know you will not be alone for the next few days. I worry for you in that house on your own." The authorities considered whether the unidentified man with long hair might have information about Rachel's whereabouts. Initially, the investigation into Rachel's disappearance was discreet and low-key. However, on April 21st, the local criminal investigation department assumed control of the case, leading investigators to suspect foul play and focusing on scrutinizing Rachel's home. The initial search yielded no suspicious findings or clear indicators of harm. On April 23rd, the police intensified their efforts by conducting thorough inquiries door-to-door in the vicinity of Rachel's residence on Argyle Street. Detectives revisited the property while sniffer dogs combed the nearby bushes, yet they were unable to uncover any traces of Rachel. Assisted by John, the authorities circulated a photograph of the enigmatic long-haired individual whom Rachel encountered at the train station on April 27th. Despite this effort, no one stepped forward to identify or provide information about the man. On April 28th, search teams scoured nearby sewers and cesspools in the hopes of finding any trace of her, yet their efforts proved fruitless. John agreed to partake in a press conference and a reenactment of Rachel's final known movements on Monday, April 29th. During an emotionally charged media briefing, John vehemently denied being the unidentified man who was purportedly with Rachel. He adamantly declared to the reporters, "I had nothing to do with her disappearance." As a result of the reconstruction efforts, detectives made a significant breakthrough in the case. 2 witnesses separately confirmed John Tanner's presence at the train station. However, crucially, neither witness had spotted Rachel at the station. Another witness reported seeing John on the bus from Rachel's residence to the train station, but this individual had not observed Rachel on the bus. While investigators were already inclined towards the belief that Rachel met with foul play at the hands of her boyfriend, John, during the weekend of her disappearance, this fresh information further solidified their determination to locate her remains. Police reached out to Oxfordshire County Council in early May to gain insights into the layout of the properties on Argyle Street, with a specific focus on the basements where they suspected John might have concealed Rachel. However, they were informed that the houses did not have basements. An important detail emerged when an official mentioned that the homes were supported structures, suggesting the presence of spaces beneath the floors where her body could have been concealed. On May 2nd, 1991, detectives hurried to the residence and made a grim discovery. Rachel McLean's body, wrapped in a carpet, was found shortly before 5:30 p.m. Due to the unusually cold spring of 1991, the body had not yet started to decompose. Rachel, aged just 19 at the time of her death, must have met a tragic end that deeply affected her unsuspecting housemates, who had been residing in the house unaware for almost 2 weeks, completely unaware that their friend's remains were hidden inside. John was captured and held at a pub in Nottingham shortly after the discovery was made. Initially uncooperative with interrogations, John finally admitted to killing Rachel the following day after being confronted with all the incriminating evidence. Subsequently, the detective remarked, "Having had all the facts put to him, he showed the first glimmer for emotion, but he was a difficult character. Anyone who can go for a press conference with the parents of the girlfriend he murdered is very different to you and me, aren't they?" John, who insisted on penning his statement, recounted that upon learning the reason behind Rachel's refusal to accept his proposal, he became enraged and may have lost control. He articulated, "Because I actively showed that I wanted to care for her, because I actively promised to care for her as long as I could. I do not construe that as possessiveness. I construe that as caring for someone you love." While Rachel documented her discontent with the relationship in her journals, John's true emotions came to light in a letter he penned to her in January 1991. In the letter, he expressed, "All I feel is anger and rejection. I love you. You know that. Why do you not want me? I shall not give you up." In court, he elaborated that Rachel had taunted him when he struggled with groin and abdominal discomfort, preventing him from engaging in sexual activities. Ultimately, he revealed himself to be a wrathful, domineering individual who, based on the evidence, was solely concerned with himself and how situations impacted him. Although he confessed to ending Rachel's life, he refuted the accusation of murder, necessitating a trial that subjected her loved ones to additional anguish. Detectives concluded that John committed the ultimate act because Rachel expressed a desire to end their relationship. Paradoxically, he was deeply infatuated and had even proposed marriage to Rachel. The investigation team uncovered a 100-page dossier of Rachel's letters and journal entries, wherein she depicted the depth and fervor of her feelings for the individual in question, writing sentiments such as, "Your passion consumes me. Sometimes I'm afraid. We are welded. We are two molten metals made stronger by their unity. Apart we are useless." In another entry she penned, "I'm aware you have the capability to kill me with a word, whether you desire to or not. The balloon hangs above me like a ghost, slowly deflating." However, the journal also revealed her readiness to terminate the relationship before her demise. A segment of her letter read, "What a joke I just wrote, John's Valentine's card. Full of sweets, pure words, words that I shuffled out from some fountain inside of me. A fountain which is cracked and dried somehow. I don't think he would have appreciated sweet nothings along the lines of you sick, childish. Sometimes I think dark thoughts, his cancer. Sometimes I don't think it is true. What is truly cancerous is his self-pity and the vampire-like way he leeches on my affection. Will I marry him? Will I get engaged to him, simply because I cannot be bothered to make the effort to stop it? I see through his soul, as one sees through a dirty window. Oh, how dark and deep is the soul of a strong woman, the way the mask slips on easily to protect him from my naked soul." John confessed to the authorities that he ended Rachel's life following her rejection of his proposal of marriage. According to his statement on that Saturday evening, he and Rachel were together in her bedroom when she conveyed the devastating news of her refusal to accept his marriage proposal. She purportedly disclosed that she had been intimate with other men to ease the breakup, which led to John labeling her in a derogatory manner. John asserted that he lost control when it seemed like Rachel was about to strike him. The tragic events unfolded during the night when Rachel met her demise. Forensic evidence pointed to her being initially strangled by John's hands and then with a ligature. John stated that he relocated Rachel's body from the floor to the bed before spending the restless night contemplating what to do with her remains. The day after the tragic incident, he carefully concealed her lifeless body beneath the floorboards. First, he cleared out the usual household rubbish from a storage area under the stairs before transporting Rachel's clothed remains, clad in ski pants and a t-shirt, from her bedroom along the hallway and into the available space. He maneuvered stealthily through the narrow gap beneath the corridor's floors. Space was limited under her bedroom floor, with only an 8-inch gap for hiding a body. The following day, he endeavored to establish an alibi by claiming to have encountered the long-haired individual at the train station. Subsequently, he made multiple calls to Rachel's residence post the tragic event to check if she had returned. Her unsuspecting housemates innocently answered his calls, unaware of the grim reality of her demise. During the 4-day trial at Birmingham Crown Court, John disclosed to the jury Rachel's infidelity and intention to terminate their relationship. Despite pleading not guilty, he explained, "In a fit of rage, I flew at her and grabbed her by the throat. I think I must have lost control because I have only a vague recollection of the time that elapsed afterward. I'm bewildered why I've done such a terrible thing to a person I love dearly." He added, I've never resorted to violence in my life. I've never struck or been struck by another human being. I've always resorted to active debate. If that fails, I walk away. On December 6, 1991, the jury unanimously found John guilty of Rachel's murder by a majority vote of 10-2 and sentenced him to life imprisonment. John attributed Rachel's demise to her own actions, labeling her a dark angel for allegedly sabotaging his life. According to a fellow inmate, John initially grappled with remorse over Rachel's death. However, upon discovering her disparaging writings about him despite her professed love, he shifted blame onto her, viewing her as the catalyst for the tragic outcome. He had convinced himself that she was the root of the issue that led to her demise. After completing a prison sentence of just under 12 years, John Tanner returned to New Zealand. His reappearance in the New Zealand Herald in late 2018 followed a court appearance where he was convicted of repeatedly assaulting his partner over a span of 6 months. While residing with his girlfriend at a hotel, John straddled her on the bed, delivering slaps and closed fist strikes to her head. Despite her pleas to stop, he continued the assault, remarking, "Look, this is what you made me do," as she wept on the floor, her face and head bearing bruises. As a consequence of this violent incident, John received a sentence of 2 years and 9 months in jail. During his parole hearing in February 2019, John recognized the need for a cautious approach in resuming his relationship with his victim. He expressed frustration at being incarcerated instead of receiving therapy while on parole, deeming it unjust and burdensome. Although John impressed the board with his intellect and articulateness, they found his inability to explain his actions or propose solutions concerning. The board maintained that until John underwent psychological intervention in prison, he posed a threat to his current victim and any future individuals with whom he formed close relationships. The sudden loss of Rachel cast a profound and irreplaceable void in the hearts of her loved ones, peers, and academic circle. Their profound sorrow and mourning stand as a poignant tribute to the vibrant and promising life that was abruptly ended. Following this devastating event, the Oxford community came together to commemorate Rachel's legacy, extending comfort and solidarity to her bereaved family and friends. Their resilience and unity in the wake of such a tragic loss underscore the strength of collective empathy and fortitude. Rachel McLean's narrative acts as a somber prompt of the significance of awareness and aid for those enduring silent struggles. May her memory instigate a commitment to cherish our dear ones, seek assistance when necessary, and advocate for a world where all can exist without fear or violence. If you found this video compelling, leave a like, and your thoughts in the comments. Be sure to subscribe and check out our other videos.